Good evening, Ken at Tortoise Capital Nightly Strategy Podcast for August 22nd, 2024. The market started to roll over today. We're going to start with the weakest tech stock, which is in the weakest tech sector, Intel, for our sniper trade of the day. This is Intel, and we are on 3-minute charts. This was yesterday's close. Here's the opening range 3. No, I'm sorry, this is 10. Opening range 10. There's the breakdown below the 10-minute low. There's the standard risk, dropping like a stone. The R10 rolls over, so we take the exit. Take it at the skin of the dragon for 1R. It collapses some more, so we re-enter, same risk. We take a 0.2 win when it R10 rolls over. It does not fail like it's supposed to. It just rolls up. So we end up getting the skin of the dragon. We make this much. That's about 0.2. I am so totally not interested in the long side on a day when the market is weak, tech is weaker, and Intel is the worst tech stock. Caught a 2 short when it breaks the PSAR flip. Second position when it makes a new low of the day below the previous collapsing dragon. Closing out a few minutes before the end of the day. That first position on 1 unit of risk makes about 1.5. This one makes 1, so that's about 2.5 for a net of about 3.7. Everything below the 3 and 5 day VWAP, the 1 day VWAP was just nothing but miserable all day, and closed with a sell-off with a lot of volume. So this is a swing sniper trade of the month, I guess. So this is all in NVIDIA. This is our focus stock. This is daily bars. And this was a sell-off from about 136. And those last 3 days here at the start of August featured a big sell-off and a huge gap down, which reversed intraday. And then this became an amazing intraday trade in the usual way. And when it got to here and closed here, I kept a piece because this is a bottoming tail. So I'm using the money that I made in here to fund an overnight risk in NVIDIA. So I don't have any core capital at risk. I'm just staying with it. It's market's money. Now, when it breaks through the PSAR and we get a 1, 2, 3, I go ahead and initiate a second position. Well, why don't you get out here, Kent? Because it's in the noise. Third position when it breaks above the Bollinger Band mean. Now that's got a smaller risk box because I'm only going to the 2-bar low. And then yesterday we start peaking. Today it gaps up and then starts selling off and makes this low. This is characteristic of topping action. The R10 rolls over. So I'm going to jump stop to here anyway. But when it breaks below yesterday's low, I can get out, and I'm going to get out of all of this. And the price is 129. And so this entry was at 99 with an $8 risk, and it exits at 129. So that makes 30 bucks a share. Divided by $8 of risk is a 3.7 R. If you're trading 400 bucks of risk, that would be 50 shares. 400 bucks, so that would be about a $1,400 gain. 400 times 3.7 and exiting up here. This one also has an $8 risk. That's $20 a share. That's 2.5 R. That's 1,000 bucks if you're trading 400. On this one, because we only have a $4 risk, I can have 100 shares. The entry's at 119, exiting at 129. That's a 2.5 R. So that's also 1,000, about 1,000 bucks. So that's about $3,500 on a $400 initial risk, which was paid for with the market's money from that entry, or from that day trade here. Now, that's trading it on daily bars. I also trade it on 30-minute bars with the turbo. So later in the week, when I have this series of higher lows and then a gap up that has cleared the two previous peaks on the 30-minute bar, I venture in with an entry here. Now, this is a smaller risk, and that's in the position for about 5 days. And then today, when it gaps up and starts, or yesterday, when it gapped up and started selling off, I take the exit at the Bollinger Band mean. And that one returns for 1 unit of risk, about 4 R. And you can see that that one, I'm sorry, about 5 R. And that one exits back in here. There's another run up. That's the gap up today. And then the harsh sell off. What I want you to notice on the 30-minute bars, the difference in the feel between this kind of a move and then the SMA 30 rolling over, the double top, the final gap up gasp, and then today's sell off just like this. So you've got to get out here. On the intraday, when you look at that, that exits at 129 on a shorter time frame. So we're going to take a look at that one next. So there's an additional 5 R. Now trading intraday during the day on NVIDIA on the 1 minute. I'll come back to that one. I wanted to show this one instead on the 3 minutes. So on the 3 minute, because it's my focus stock, here's yesterday's close. Here's the gap up. Here's the OR3. And then all it's doing is breaking down. That looks like the last gasp that traps the fifth mouse. And so I'm ready for the short side trade on this one. And this is the exit for all of the swing trades that you just saw at 129. When this comes down, it makes this run, it can't go. It makes this little run, cannot make a new high. The PSAR flips, it's coming through the Bollinger Band mean. It's already below the VWAP. That's enough. All swings out at 129, cashing about 3,600 bucks. Now I get a COTA 2. Now I can actually trade this one intraday with a short and a standard risk above the VWAP. And that thing collapses for about 3R on the 3-minute bars. Now, if you're an aggressive day trader and you want to be on the 1-minute bars, where that whole mess collapses is right here. You have a collapsing dragon, which sells off 4R. You take the exit at the skin of the dragon. Then I try an SSC because why not? It fails. I try it again. It fails. Those two ventures net a minus 0.5. This sell-off nets 4. So that gives you 3.5 on the intraday. And that's turbo and core trading in NVIDIA. While that's happening, we're getting the standard short in Intel, as I showed before. So when the entire market is melting down, it's not surprising that Intel's doing this, while NVIDIA, a much better semiconductor company, is giving back all its profits. And that leads to the whole tech sector and SPY selling. So there's no interest for me in going long today. All right, let's look at the traders. 3 scratches from Jonathan. This is a late entry. That's a late entry. EWW, that's a second entry on the CD. That's a reasonable one and a reasonable cover. This entry was late on the SSC, which it might have paid off a little better if we're a little quicker. Same issue here. The energy sector, he stayed out of the chop pretty well. This might have been a COTA 2. There wasn't much follow through on a negative day. I'll say that. This is Tim. Finds the short side on his favorite AMD, loses one, but then scratches and then makes a big bank for a net of 1.8. And then in Microsoft, he doesn't get the stop and reverse right away, but he does get the collapsing dragon and is able to net 2.5. So even though he got the initial direction out of alignment with the market, he was able to quickly reverse and follow the price, which means he's following the rules, and he gets 4.3 for the day. Nice work all around the board. Let's take a look at the reports for today. This is the beginning of a rollover after a double top, which we talked about yesterday, and the sell-off makes it close at the lowest part of the day. The 3-day VWAP, the 5-day VWAP are starting to both roll over. There's room for it to go to 548 tomorrow, to the 10-day VWAP and the spine of the dragon. So these are the downside price levels. Like we said, this is a natural place for everybody that made bank on this nice swing to start looking for protection of profits. If it doesn't break above the all-time high, then protection of profits is the next order of business. And you can see the daily low, 5-day low, Bollinger Band main, PSAR flip, 10-day low, dragon bottom, RL10 bottom, RL30 bottom, RL10 bottom, and PSAR flip along with the 150. So there's quite a long set of targets to the downside if this thing starts collapsing now that the Democrats are done. It is characteristically different price action today compared to all this nice little run-up stuff here, very orderly. That's the first day of that sell-off, so it is vulnerable to this downward move. And that little gap up, that morning star, and then roll over is characteristic of that kind of move. There's your PSAR flip on the 30-minute, and that's why I study it. Still bullish volatile. 2-day sell-off puts us in weakness on the 2-day NDX. Big move up in Walmart again today, along with JP Morgan, but weakness in tech. Intel, Nvidia, and Tesla all suffering today. Tesla down 5%, Nvidia down 3%, Intel down almost 6%. Big up in real estate as a defensive play. Little breakdown here in EWW. Look for more weakness tomorrow. Just 5 symbols testing out on the auto framer. Many squeezes. So even though there was some selling pressure today, there's still quite a lot of narrow ranges, which lead to good market squeezes. A lot of good names in there to target that are outside of tech, like finance, JP Morgan, McDonald's, Caterpillar. All those are certainly well postured for a move tomorrow. There's your mechanical trade framing from our TC 2000 bundle. And oops, let's see, gotta get back to that. Still being dominated by the summer and spring, although I think there's a summer storm coming, and you can see just how broadly the weakness hit in both the Dow and the ETFs on the 2-day. Marijuana, Tesla, Nvidia, Intel, just wonderful intraday traders. Intel just keeps rewarding us. That first big downward spike, that's the first warning. After that nice run up, there's your warning. Just like that one was a warning. All right, that's everything for today. We'll get this published and posted, and we'll be ready for them for continuations tomorrow on Tactical Friday. Take good care.